What's good? What's good? We are back once again. Yours truly, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much more. Today, I'm going to react to Patrick Bet David, and then talking about Iran voting to execute 15,000 protesters. Whew, I don't even know what to think about that, just based off of the title. But before we do, let's give you a word from one of our sponsors.
That dizzle ain't no joke, got me addicted, ain't no coke. Let's just have a toast. Anybody want some smoke? Cause it's up, I be dizzled up. Catch me sipping with my double cup. Can't just have one, you gotta double up. You pour it, gotta watch it bubble up. I ain't gon' lie, I cannot get enough. What Callie said, I need another one. Gonna have you coming back for more, but go get it while it's hot. Before it be sold out in your stores. That dizzle.
Do you dizzle? Yes, I dizzle, and you can dizzle too. Dizzle is a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave tequila, French cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Just throw your dizzle on ice, and it's nice. You want to order your very own bottle or bottles of Dizzle premium luxury liqueur? Go to dizzlebrand.com, click on our locations, click on one of the top 3 website links. I recommend Emilio's Beverage. Must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. Below that is locations in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas as well. And soon, be on the lookout. Dizzle is also about to take 4 of the recipes and put them in cans. So they're going to start the 4-pack Dizzle with 4 different recipes. I think it'll be Dizzle on the Beach, Red Bottom, and a couple other more. So be on the lookout for that. Check them out, dizzlebrand.com. Also, get the Dizzle Brand merch. Go to dizzlebrand.com, click on the store, or go to etsy.com/shop/Dizzle Brand. All right, so let's get into it. I don't even know how I'm going to react to this because just to thinking about it is just, it's crazy. Let's go.
Move. Iran's parliament votes to execute 15,000 protesters. Let me say that one more time, folks. Execute, as in kill, 15,000 protesters to teach hard lesson. Iranian lawmakers in recent days call for strict punishment for the protesters who have been arrested. On Monday, CNN reported that a letter signed by 227 members of Iranian parliament, this is not 20, this is not 40, this is 227 Iranian parliament, urged that the protesters be given harsh punishment that would serve as a good lesson in the shortest possible time. On Tuesday, Parliament did just that, voting to impose the death penalty on all protesters in custody as a hard lesson for all rebels. The majority in favor of the penalty was considerable, 227 folks out of 290 total members. Matching the number of lawmakers who signed the letter, a court in Iran has issued the first death sentence to a person arrested for taking part of the protests that have engulfed the country's state media says. Keep this in mind. It's 220 out of 290, okay? This is not minority that's saying this. We're like, oh my God, they're so extremist. No. This is Iran's parliament, extremist, 227 victory over 63 to have 15,000 protesters be executed. So here's my concern. This is my concern. Human rights typically will be something where, Jimmy Carter's always been known as the human rights person. Oh, he ran on human rights. I'm a human rights activist. This is why I'm for Zelensky. Zelensky is the same person that came out and tweeted out in no time after the Poland story came out, and I don't know if you guys saw this, how opportunistic. He's starting to lose more and more credibility, by the way.
Of course, he's
doing this. He put it out saying, had a call with president, express condolences, president of Poland, expose condolences over the death of Polish citizens from Russian missile terror. We exchange available information, are clarifying all the facts. All of Europe and world must be fully protected from terrorist Russia. So let me get this straight. Had a call with president of Poland, expressed condolences over the death of Polish citizens from Russian missile terror. So he's already saying
Accused.
Okay, accused.
Yep.
Then he says we exchange available information and are clarifying all the facts. Wait a minute. And what do you call that? An oxymoron? Like
It
that's
goes
like
back-
a complete opposite of
Contradictory.
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 So you're saying this, and then Biden comes out, hey, we need another $37 billion for
Random.
Ukraine.
On purpose.
And then Iran just announced that they want to execute 15,000 people. What is U.S. going to do about that? If you're so concerned about human rights, this is an execution. This is not a bomb. This is not dying because of war. This is not soldiers dying because they're on front lines. This is protesters. And during COVID, if we had to choose between the left and the right that protested, the left was way more about protests and riots than the right. The only time the right was protesting is the January 6th, which turned into an insurrection. They categorize it. But all the other protesting and the riots that happened in the streets with business owners, it's just protesting is a part of life in America. No problem. These are peaceful protesters, and now the government's.
Let me chime in. One of my first thoughts, I think about when, let's touch on those people protesting in America. What were they protesting? How America was so horrific and racist and oppressive and no equality and all these things in nature, no justice. It's bad compared to what? Iran? Like he said, like literally, if this was Iran, there'd be a lot of liberals and Democrats would have got executed for protesting. Because what does this say? Iran doesn't believe in freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of views. It just really makes me, it's tragic. Just thinking about it is tragic, but it also makes me laugh when I think about how people act like America's the worst country on the planet. But right now everybody I thought was saying Russia was, and it's definitely not worse than China, North Korea, definitely not worse than Iran, definitely not worse than Afghanistan, Venezuela. I think Somalia has definitely got us beat on being worse. There's a lot of countries. I would argue that the majority of the countries on the planet are worse off to live in than America. I wouldn't want to live in Ukraine or Russia right now. I wouldn't live in Japan. Japan's 5 to 10 years. And it makes me think about the Brittany Griner thing too. Like, everybody says America's just so bad. It's just the worst racist, white supremacist country on the planet. But if you were in Iran protesting that shit, you see what they're talking about doing. The majority of the people voted to execute protesters, to execute people based off of free speech, freedom of thought. This is way more horrific than what's going on with Ukraine to me. Like, we definitely got to step in. If they're talking about executing 15,000 people, we definitely have to step in, man. And I always be asking myself, do we stick our nose into too many people's businesses? Yeah, probably with Russia and Ukraine, because we're kind of hypocritical on that. It's like a contradictory, hypocritical, double standard stance, because, we bitch and bickered about the Cold War because Russia was going to put missiles in Cuba. And then as soon as we want to bring democracy to the back door of Russia, which would probably put missiles in their backyard, we get contradictory, double standard hypocrisy over it. But this is going to be even a bigger hypocrisy if Like nobody steps in, especially the Democrats, who, like he said, spent majority of the time during protesting during the lockdowns and stuff like that because of the George Floyd and whatnot, and Breonna Taylor and the other incidents that went along as well with police shootings. So yeah, like we're a hell of a lot better country if it'd be if it'd be like Congress or Senate voting to execute protesters. Even if you was to execute the January 6th protesters, you know, I know they try to say democracy was under attack. We were in jeopardy losing democracy. This I did it a bunch of jackasses and morons taking pics on Instagram was going to take over the country is so bogus. I'm in favor of North Carolina where the 82nd Airborne is. Like, they would have sent the boys in and just took it over. That's so fucking bogus and such horseshit. But like, if they would have executed all of them, I mean, that's what it's like. That'd be horrendous. Like, if they executed everybody in January 6th, protests and riots. Because they were definitely riots. They definitely pushed their way through. So, yeah, I don't know that I need to hear more about this from the guys. Like, this is batshit crazy. It shouldn't be us just stepping up to the plate and doing something about it. Any countries that call themselves humanitarians, they got to step up and do something about this. We can't just sit back and watch people be executed for just simply protesting with free speech and freedom of thought. I understand there's a lot of countries that still ain't with the American way or Western civilization, as they call us. And a lot of countries still don't want to convert, communist countries. A lot of countries, a lot of Arabian countries, Saudi Arabia and places like that, Afghanistan and Iran. A lot of countries that are Islamic. They're definitely not trying to convert to Western civilization. Communists aren't. Yeah, so we're not totally innocent or guilty. I mean, totally innocent. We're guilty in a lot of things ourselves. Our hands ain't totally clean in anything, but I don't think we could just sit back and watch protesters get executed. Like, what does that really say? So, once again, thank you for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out.